there's still ridicule, you know, there's still fear. I've had people that we were to interview back out, become afraid. We got, me and Eddie got warned off with a shotgun one time. And the fellow simply told us, people don't talk about that around here. So I had a case in my church, and it was so funny when I was so guarded and wouldn't talk about it, but every now and then I just couldn't resist. And so in the sermon I implied some things about the possibility of a UFO type ship following Israel in their wandering through the desert. And after the sermon, people kind of cleared out, and there were some hanging around. And in a small congregation like ours, you wouldn't believe the stories. I had a lady and her mother that saw an incredible ship, an enormous ship. I had a gentleman pulled me aside and told me about an experience out fishing with his grandfather. And he said we were out on the water fishing, and this smaller type disc craft comes and zips over the water and sucks up some of the water. And then it zips over to another location and sucks up some more of the water. And after it appeared the second time, the grandfather wouldn't say anything. He just cranked the motor and said, "We won't be fishing here anymore today." And that is kind of interesting, the level of denial that I see in some generations and in some regions. I live now in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and I'm getting incredible reports. Just got a report from Oxford, Mississippi of 2 sightings. Just got a report from Memphis, Tennessee, 2 incredible sightings with physical evidence. And I could share with you all day the experiences that people have. So when they come forward because someone else has not accepted it into their mind frame, doesn't mean that it's not so. I understand that when they first told people about the gorilla, no one believed it. But finally, you know, they capture one and bring it over, and they can't deny it anymore. Friend, witness report is used in a court of law. If it's such a false evidence, then why would a policeman, why would a judge listen to a witness account when we have multiple witnesses on a broad scale throughout the world sharing similar stories? That is compelling. I didn't say conclusive, but it is compelling evidence that there is a reality there. Photographer Carlos Diaz shot this amazing object near Mexico City. As he was going to film a sunrise, he sees this thing and takes an incredible picture. He talks to other people in the place where he lived, and they had seen it. They described the same thing. They knew what he had seen. It's an incredible story, and it could be repeated over and over in many different locations. You know, if you look at a lot of things that you say you believe, and yet you've never seen. I've never seen George Washington. I've never seen Australia. But, you know, I've seen pictures of it. People told me they've been there, met people from Australia, never seen New Zealand. Many believers of different religions firmly believe, but have never seen. Why should we ridicule what others have seen when most of our beliefs are platformed on things which we have never seen? Doesn't seem too logical, does it? And I think we need to question our double standard that we allow ourselves to say, yeah, we firmly believe things just based on the fact we've seen pictures of it and heard people tell about it. Well, with that being the basis of your believing something, then shouldn't you at least listen to people that say they have seen objects in the skies and that they've interacted with the beings in these objects? Absolutely. You see, this is a double standard that we need to look at. The consensus reality. Let me pull this up here. The consensus reality accepts only what the collective insanity agrees upon, and this is changing in the coming awakening. And I don't want to appear doubtful or negative. I realize that awareness it's a process, but we can't just deny something because the consensus, the collective insanity, says it doesn't exist. I love the old story about the king who is conned into thinking he's wearing clothes. He's actually naked because the man tells him only fools cannot see this beautiful clothing. So he walks around the kingdom naked, and a little boy finally speaks up. He's willing to be the fool, and he says the king's naked. And we need some little boys, we need some people to say, look, I don't care what the collective thinks, I don't care what the popular mind frame is. There's something there. There's a reality that's seen, experienced repeatedly over and over again, not only in our time, but in recent history and in remote history. My goodness, they scratched it on cave walls. They were so impressed by what they had seen. They have it in their oral traditions, in written traditions. They tell of these people. The Native Americans tell of the star people. Not all the experiences are negative. They tell of being rescued. There's a Southwest tribe that tells of the ant people taking them into parts of the earth where they are protected from floods and great earth changes. Not all the experiences are negative. Not all the experiences are positive by any means. So there's a host of things, and each one needs to be considered in its own merit. If the UFO experience is invalid, why have many researchers and witnesses been warned off by the mysterious men in black? There doesn't seem to be as much of the intimidation from the shadowy men in black figures, although it still does occur. Not as much. There seems to be some allowance for more disclosure, and possibly this is signaling a transition for humanity. But there are incredible stories of people being warned and threatened and intimidated by some very strange and odd characters, almost seemingly robotic in some cases. I know John Keel had amazing experiences, and some of the witnesses of the Mothman event, these people endured some things, and it was so confusing because what seemed hostile may have actually been a warning of the impending disaster that took place in the falling bridge. It's just something you need to look at and think about and realize that yes, there is intimidation to some of this coming forward. Certain groups, political structures, religious structures feel like